So Mr. Marco Marcola mentioned Parliament magazine, which indeed is found outside of this hall, and there is 3 interviews of experts who are present here, Mr. Marcola inclusive, of course. And by the way, Parliament magazine is an official cooperation partner for us for this event. But, so there will be press conference at 11 for most dignitative speakers from this conference. But now I have to invite to the podium the plenary session number 3 panel, and that will be Mr. Dimitri Korpakis, moderator Rafael Rodriguez, Muriel Atane, Secretary General from EARTO, Yuka Alasanti, Director of Regional Development for Tampere region, and Matthew Dosino, Policy Analyst from European Commission. Please, I'm giving over the floor to you all.
Well, good. Hello? It works? Didn't work? Yes. No, it works. Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. I think that after the interesting presentation we have had previously, we can go directly to the topic of our session, which is the challenges of synergies between funding instruments. I would like to remind you one of the sentences that Commissioner Cretu said in his video on the introduction, which is that we have to overcome the silo mentalities. Somehow this links also with one of the statements of Mr. Marcola in the previous session, where he said that really the public innovation is too difficult. And really these are the issues that we are trying to cope with this session, try to present some elements, try to advance in the substitution of the silo mentality for a cooperative mentality between the different instruments that we have at European level. Cooperative mentality because we have problems, and problems that must be solved in a cooperative way, not just with a silo mentality. And so this session will be exactly devoted to that, how to get the synergies between all the things. We have 2 questions to be addressed today. The first one is how can the development of research and innovation be strengthened through better use of structural funds? And second, something that also Mr. Marcola has highlighted is which are the best opportunities for research and innovation collaboration between regions, because regions, in fact, are the main agent of what we are saying, the main agent of implementing the research strategy. So without any other introduction from my side, I will give the floor to Mr. Dimitri Korpakis, which is the soul, let's say the hardcore of this wide conference. He's head of unit at DG Research, in charge of spreading excellence and widening participation. Dimitri, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rafael. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The title that you see on screen is different from what you see in the program. And there is some explanation on this because we have been working quite hard with Rafael to structure this session. And he had an idea that I would focus rather on our core business, because we are actually running the widening participation action and working with the main focus on research institutions. And the question is, how can really excellent research institutions support local innovation capacities, including human resources? And this is a crucial thing because we have talked a lot about universities. Marco just talked about orchestrating innovation ecosystems, and universities and research organizations are crucial to this fact. But many people are questioning how this can ever happen, because normally knowledge institutions are focused on creating and advancing knowledge. But if you take a step back and see what happens, you will see that global value chains today have changed local development forever. And we are living in a knowledge economy. It's not something that you will keep it for the outer future. And the way we are dealing today with producing goods and services and new innovative concepts have changed forever. And Marco has given a lot of stress in the information economy, and this is actually changing everything. Digital is changing everything, and you know that one of the priorities of the new Commission is the digital single market. Now, regions that cannot be adapted to this new way of doing things will be marginalized, and this is really serious, and I must say this is happening already around Europe. It's not only regions, you can also have entire countries falling out of scope. So local economies need to find new ways to connect and reconnect, integrate these global value chains. This is crucial, and this is the most crucial message on smart specialization. But how you do this? You need new alliances, new working methods. And it's all about how you can actually deliver catching up strategies for the 21st century. If you look at the latest edition of the Innovation Union Scoreboard, you will see that we have still a deepening innovation divide in Europe, East and West, which also is very much connected with the traditional North-South divide. So we have now even more member states and regions in the catching up mode. And while catching up is also an opportunity, because it can lead you to a fastest leapfrogging, this also presents formidable challenges for the member states and regions that are in this mode. But this can be actually mitigated with consistent policies for growth that invest on knowledge and increase on how we can increase competitiveness. So, basic element for all this that we have tested and it works, but we know that it needs to be constantly adapted and modernized, is the triple helix concept. And if you like adding the civil society, you can have the quadruple helix. And if you add the financial institutions, you can go to quintuple helix. Whatever you call it, the helix is the basis of all this, and this is actually what needs to be constantly in evolution. A good test about if your triple helix really works is to test always if one institution can take the role of the other, and this is the basic premise of the helix. Sometimes businesses can work as knowledge institutions, universities can be entrepreneurial and work as businesses, and then government can also be a lot entrepreneurial to make all this matter work faster. And knowledge institutions are key players on this. They are not marginals, and the excellent research institutions can really provide the ingredients for this development. They can provide expertise, they can boost growth opportunities, and everything that is needed to advance the knowledge economy. This is exactly what we are doing in our action in Horizon 2020 on spreading excellence and widening participation. Is an independent part of Horizon, doesn't fit to any other challenge, it's completely out of any other societal challenge. It has a small budget, which recently was saved by the cuts of the Juncker package, which is good news. It happened a few days ago. And the Parliament, yes. And it consists of three main actions on teaming, which is creating centers of excellence between advanced and low-performing countries, and twinning, which is institutional networking in a lighter form, the European Research Area Chairs, which is bringing whole excellent teams to institutions for raising their excellence, and coupled with this we have the new policy support facility for new policy design, and also the important action of COST, which is one of the oldest, actually the oldest intergovernmental framework in Europe for science and technology cooperation, contributing also to widening actions. Teaming, which is our flagship initiative, has recently completed its first call, and we got, as you know, an overwhelming success because we got more than 169 proposals, and we have now 31 projects starting in all new member states, apart from one. But this was a particularly important aspect because it shows that advanced institutions can really team with institutions in the low-performing countries to create new joint ventures and new institutions. We are in institutional building. This is not a usual project, and this will face the long term. We are talking about institutions that will have to work with them for the next 15, 20 years and hopefully will anchor themselves well into the innovation path. Is it easy to do? No. It's extremely difficult, and all studies that we have conducted, not only us but also other parts of the Commission and also the Joint Research Center, demonstrate that as you advance on this road, the difficulties increase. The more universities and research organizations want to be involved in these local development initiatives, the more barriers we'll face. But this is exactly the role of our programs, to make this easier and to oil the whole system. And we have published, as you know, a lot of guides and expert group reports. You will find them on the Smart Specialization Platform website. And this comes from one of these guides of the IPTS, but we also produced a report on the particular role of universities and research organizations in the whole smart specialization process. I will finish with this slide and give you some practical ideas on how universities and research organizations can really engage into these local development initiatives. Because you can provide consultancy services to local players, build knowledge transfer partnerships, enhance productivity and performance of science and technology parks, help to connect local business communities with the existing universities and clusters, raise awareness and provide guidance, especially on intellectual property rights, because many people actually ignore even the basics of this, and this is crucial for Europe. And also help to develop workforce skills at all levels, reminding also about the important role of universities in social innovation initiatives. I would like to thank you for your attention, and I think this debate that only starts now will have more to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dimitri, for this interesting question. At the end of the session, at the end of the presentation, we will have the opportunity to discuss about some of the questions that have been raised by the speaker, because I think that everybody identified quite clearly the problem. Now the floor is for Muriel Atané. She is the General Secretary of EARTO, which is the organization of research and technological organization. I mean, she will speak about EARTO on the first side, and then the risk as a booster for innovation ecosystem. Please, Muriel, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Now you hear me. Yesterday we had problem of mic, so I think now it's okay. I wanted to have, I reflect with Raphael yesterday on my presentation, and he told me, Muriel, this is far too long. So I said, okay, we're going to cut it off. And he asked me, what do you want people to take on with them when they go back home? And I thought of one thing we discussed along the steering committee when we made the program with Richard and with Dimitri and of course with Dita. And one of the discussions started with the presentation and one of the slides you saw from Dimitri, which is there is research institutions, not only university, but also research institutes, which are the guys I represent in Europe, which are actually going to be actors of EURIS 3. And how is the dialogue with them going? if you don't know they exist or if you don't link with them, and how can we help on the way? So that was the job of my network, and that was the discussion we had with Dimitri. So I would like to explain you what an RTO standpoint. I had a lot of discussion yesterday with a few of the regions. I went at the Finnish table, and they told me, what on RTO stands for? And then you realize you are really in your own corner of Europe. So I will try to give you a small take on who I represent. And if you have more questions, I'm very happy to discuss. And if I pique your curiosity to actually go and in our website see if one of the members I have is actually located in one of your region, then I think I would have win already something today. So a little bit of explanation. And I have all the, a lot of animation I will try to cut through. Basically, EARTO stands for Association of RTO. RTO stands Research and Technology Organization. They are a research institute working on applied research. We have 23 countries, 350 members. You will know the big ones, like Fraunhofer, CEA. We have some guys of Fraunhofer. You know Technalia, who in the workshop on the Synergy made presentation on how regional funds helped the best countries. To help their 10 RTOs to become one big one, which is now Technalia. You know the big ones, but I have 10 big ones, and I have 340 of very different size, which I think would be interesting to discuss with when you are looking at the risk-free. Why? Take the two axes I have here. One side you put science, one side you put market. Science, you will look at what is done in university. Market is a new car on the market that you have produced. There's a lot of things happening between thinking of a new material for an airbag and having the airbag in the car. You have also another axis, the public, so local and regional government, national or EU policies, and you have private, which will be the companies. Here in the middle, the RTOs will be active, and they can help you on first task, policy advisor. They are very much requested by city, for example, to help with urban planning. They are asked in terms of mobility, if I keep on the topic, asked by ministry to say, okay, in the Netherlands we have problem with traffic jam in the whole Randstad area, so how are you going to help us make the right investment in motorways in the Netherlands so that actually today, 10 years later, we have a decrease of our traffic jams. They will give advice, and they are paid for that advice. What you see also, one of the big tasks of the RTOs, they perform research. That's their job. They are paid for that. They have two types of research. One, which is on societal challenges, for example, better motorway of the future with some IT tools. So when you're driving, your car will drive alone on the motorway at the right speed so we don't have traffic jams. But they will be also working for the airbag in the car for BMW, that if you crash because the system of IT failed from the state, you don't die. So they will do research for societal challenges, and they are working on any topic you may think of in Horizon 2020, but they are also working supporting the industry and providing research to the industry. And here, what you can see is that the RTOs have been quite key in finding solutions to revitalize certain industry. I'm giving a prize every year for the best innovation of the year. And last year was given, one of the prizes was given to SP in Sweden, who worked for the wood industry, which is quite declining, and they have to find new ways of using the residues of woods they have. And they find a way to use the residues of wood to create a new protein to give fish food. And the fish industry is booming in that part of Sweden. So they are making the best of two industries by finding technical solutions of using the leftover on one side to help the problems of the other one. And I think here you could use them in your strategy when you are seeing that certain industry need help to be more innovative. What you also see, the questions today, which are quite key, you have the same. In your risk-free, you need to have a multi-stakeholder approach. In the technical solution of today for helping any industry or government or local government, you will need to be able to work with a lot of disciplinarity. So you will need to know healthcare and maybe nanomaterials and a lot of different technologies. You need to be able to work with your local government that will ask you some things, as well as the industry in your region. And they are not talking the same languages, but they are all the clients of RTOs. So RTOs have been used to work with a lot of different partners. And I think they should be more utilized. What you see as well is RTOs are working as much with SMEs than with large companies. They're not working the same ways. SME would like a solution for yesterday for a probably contract of 5,000 euro, and if you work for a big companies, they want you to be their external lab for 200 million euro contract for the next 3-4 years. Here, we also, as RTO, have to adapt very much to the different people we're working. So we're not only working for large companies, and we also own spin-offs. So when we think that something is good enough to go to the market, we are just putting that on one single company that will start. A lot of the RTOs actually 50 years ago were spin-offs of the universities. For example, in Belgium, if I have some Belgian friends here, IMEC, which is now 2,000 employees, was a spin-off of KU Leuven. So if you're also looking with your risk-free strategy to increase your innovation base, the discussions with the universities and their spin-off and the link to a full-fledged RTO will also be interesting. So that's who we are, and that's what we are doing. And I hope here you find, some kind of links to the strategy and the plans you all have developed or are now having to implement with the risk-free. What the RTOs are doing, and which is really key today, they are maintaining very expensive, large or small, technology platforms, which are used to test, that can be supercomputers, that can be test facilities to crash a car, that can be labs to test a new medicine, you name it. Those infrastructure require very large financial engineering. So my research institutes have become financial engineers those days. So when you are talking about synergy of funds, they have to live the synergy of funds every day for every single activities they are performing. Of course, they have the simple contracts with the industry, but what you see today is that they are managing the pool within Horizon 2020, where, it's a research program. For them, it's quite easy. They are 1/3 of the beneficiaries. They are in the top ranking of the beneficiary as well. With the Juncker plan, I think we will see that pot decreasing quite drastically, especially on the innovation action. And I think the role of the regions will increase to pick up some part of the support to the technology platform that is not given by EU. You see that they are also working with some of the region. I mean, I just had a very interesting visit a few months ago, also in Sweden, a new test tracks, which has been built by the University of Chalmers and by SP for Volvo and for the big car manufacturers in Sweden, where basically the city of Borås bought the land thanks to structural funds, give it to SP, that then make the build-up of the infrastructure thanks to a loan, not an EIB loan, just a bank loan. Now, these type of constructions, you will need someone who manages that type of infrastructure. You don't want to build an infrastructure with structural funds, not having a business model on how to run that infrastructure. RTOs have the knowledge on how to run and make business out of that infrastructure. It took about 6 years of the city of Borås and the region of Chalmers to build up the infrastructure. It is open since August this year. It is at 80% used already during the day, and they are thinking, we need to make a team working at night because we're making such a good business within less than 6 months that we have to increase. I think if you want to be successful in your risk-free strategy in the implementation, you will need to have managers who know how to make business out of research. And I think these are what the RTOs can offer you. What we also are looking now, you have the third part, which is loans. There is a tendency to think that loans can replace grants. I think that's a mistake in terms of innovation. So I think the regions with their structural funds will have even a stronger role. We are looking now with the EIB to see if there is business model for soft loans maybe for some of the spin-offs of the RTOs. I'm not quite sure that we will see a lot of innovation coming out of FC, but at least on our side we will do our best to help the discussion. All of this is to manage and maintain the research infrastructure that you need in Europe to be top-notch. And I think that job is part of where we are linking to you. We need your help to do that. One of the big issues we have is the coherence between all these instruments. As RTO, we have to face a sea of rulings, a sea of audits, a sea of varieties of how do you say, approaching research, and we are really much fighting on the other side to keep a kind of coherence and make a business out of it. And it's not so very easy, not a business of using the grants just for making use of the grants, but make business with the research we are performing. What we see in terms of synergy, and in the discussion we had very much on synergy, sometimes my members were involved in the risk-free strategies. 2 minutes. What we see is that often in the synergy is looked at the targets, so you're trying to, make synergy like funds have to be combined, and forgetting that, no, you want to combine funds to help you to perform and to develop new labs, so the synergy is not the target, but is the tool. Often we see also that synergy is measured at project base. You're going to be successful with your risk-free in terms of pooling different finances together, but it's not going to happen in a project. For example, let the project Horizon 2020 be the Horizon 2020 project, and let be the structural fund project, the structural fund project. When we're trying to link the two, we see so many financial and implementation issues that we will really not be very looking for that. And what we see as well is we think that the risk-free strategy will have to be judged according to the criteria and the targets you've set in the strategy. The synergy is not, a target in itself. We have made a paper, I will not go through, on the synergy with Erin. It's available both on our websites, so I will skip this one, you will get it anyway. I think what I wanted to finish is that we feel sometimes that as RTOs we don't have the right framework at regional level, and I think if we would have more dialogue, this could be largely improved and help both parties. When I say framework, I'm looking at condition of work. I have some RTOs which were welcome in, the discovery process to go to the risk-free. Some of them had the door closed. Some of them cannot access the structural fund in their country. So I have a variety of things that we could look at. What the experience we had from the risk-free is that it is a chance to be taken, and I think that's what Marco was saying this morning. We have to pick it up. I think the effort being made now in Europe on innovation is politically not very high on the agenda, so I hope the regions will pick it up. If not, as RTO, we will be into quite issues. And it will take you a long time to be successful, but keep it up and use us.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Muriel. Now we pass to a real, very interesting case. It was previously presented that Finland is a sort of social laboratory for innovation in Europe. It's extremely interesting. We had the privilege of having with us Mr. Jukka Alasanti, which is the Director for Regional Development in Tampere region in Finland. He's just going to talk some example of how make the change happen with the structural fund, which is a very interesting case that from where we can learn a lot. And at the end of the session, we will have time just to perhaps to discuss some of the questions he will present. Look.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be here and speak, especially after this excellent opening speech we heard from Mr. Markkula. I'm going to show that we are trying to live that in reality, that what he tried to say. About Tampere region, second largest region in Finland, 2.5 million inhabitants. We are investing in R&D about 6% of our regional GDP. That is something like 1 billion euros yearly, and 80% of that comes from private companies. Tampere region is also the home of Nokia, and we have had our share of smart specialization challenges. You remember the morning the platform was burning and we knew that we are in deep trouble, but we got out of that, I hope. Okay, about this regional development, I think the first point I want to make is that strategy matters, that the regional strategy is important. You have to have clear regional strategy based on smart specialization principles, but sometimes the funding mechanisms are guiding too much the strategy, so that we take the tools first and then think that what can be done with those tools. But we are trying to think the other way around and define first the regional goals and then see what kind of tools we have available to fulfill our goals. But we are trying to be very intelligent in using those tools, trying to new ways of doing things, and especially we are trying to find new ways to collaborate and cooperate with other regions. Change is the key word for our strategy. We are like procuring the change. We are buying the change. We are not using our structural funds as a reduction percentage for something that if we don't have enough local money or regional money, the structural funds will come and help. No, we are thinking the other way around, that the change is the most important, and then you can use the structural funds, the national funds, local money to procure that change. Do you need a big change at once, or is it more like incremental approach? We are applying the incremental approach, that we are trying to achieve these big changes through a cloud of projects, so that we might finance 5 to 10 smaller projects in order to better control the change and make changes to our direction if needed. If you realize that this is not leading anywhere, or we have taken the wrong path, we can change our direction when you have smaller incremental projects. It's also important to monitor and especially evaluate things when you're going on the way. So what has worked and why is the question we are trying to ask all the time, and see that if there's need to change things, then the changes must be done. But the main point today is the role of structural funds and the synergies between them and other instruments. Structural funds are very limited in Finland, so there is a big need for focus, that we can't, use structural funds on infrastructure and human resources as much as we like, but you have to have very, very clear and sharp focus on the use. And the steering force of structural funds is based on a couple of things, that we fund only projects that support the regional strategy. And that we see that supports the specialization aspect of our strategy. But we want to fund only projects that enhance the multiplayer cooperation and international competitiveness of our region. So that is the smart way of doing things. And when we are talking about smart specialization, we are emphasizing the smart side, not so much the specialization, because I would say that we are celebrating the 20th anniversary of smart specialization in Finland, when we started the Center of Expertise program 20 years ago, and so that kind of approach is more or less like bread and butter for us. But the smart side is crucial. And I took up one example of the current programming period. The first big project we have funded is the platform of 3D printing for SMEs in our region, and there are three institutions involved in this process, and it reaches from vocational training, secondary training, to university research. So it covers all the possible needs of the companies, and also for the first time in the project plan it says that the project will cooperate with other European regions inside the Vanguard initiative. So that was what Mr. Markula was referring to, that we can use our local structural funding to fund European cooperation between regions. And by combining, we get bigger project, we can focus more on the needs of the SMEs, so there will be a better response to customer needs in that project. So we have used structural funds to enhance the capabilities of research and innovation institutions. We don't see that there's a clear separation of structural funds and research and innovation funds like Horizon. I see it more like a continuum that with the structural funds we are trying to enhance their capabilities. We are trying to invest in research infrastructure, innovation knowledge, that is patents or commercialization of things, and cooperation skills, and try to promote those, and then the outcome will be that our institutions are more attractive partners for other regions, and they are more competitive in Horizon 2020 calls. So there's a clear strategy there that the structural funds are used as tools to rise the level, increase the level of our capabilities or capacity to do world-class research, and that will lead to better regional development. And here I would like to take one example. The Biomeditech is a project funded by the European Regional Development Fund. We invested almost 5 million euros to that in the previous programming period, and combined the biomeditech technology units in 2 universities, and now the new unit is among the top 3 in the whole world when measured by publications or professors or whatever. So that shows that with structural funds you can really enhance the regional research capacity and achieve some world-class results. And then finally some words about interregional cooperation. Is Interreg a special instrument, or could it be an embedded activity, so that, as I explained that in this 3D printing project already, it's embedded in the project, it's not a separate instrument. So that could it be in the future that the interregional activities could be more part of the major ERDF projects funded locally, and the corresponding funding from the partners is also from their own local sources, ERDF, ESF, you name it. And that could lead to a situation where the projects match better with the customer needs, not to the needs of intermediate bodies. Sorry if I'm insulting somebody here, but that is our reality, that sometimes the projects in Interreg, they are planned by intermediate bodies who have done that for years, and then they live like in their own bubble, and sometimes you need clearly more connection with universities or SMEs or whatever. That could mean less bureaucracy. It's much faster because the decision is made in a couple of months in locally regions, in the regions, instead of the process of Interreg, which could take years before the project starts. So we are questioning that is this the way ahead? For example, the Vanguard initiative, 3D printing pilot. We are looking for the other regions and waiting for their collaborative actions and funding, and hope that we will see something new to emerge from this. So, Mr. Chair, that was 10 minutes. Okay. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Jukka, for this interesting presentation of the logical frame of how a structural fund can be used and how can be used for creating synergies without different instruments. Thank you very much indeed. Well, and last but not least, we have a presentation by Mathieu Doucineau about the work performed in the Joint Research Center around the stairways of excellence and some of the results and conclusions. Mathieu, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Raphael. First, I have to tell you why I completely changed my presentation yesterday night. It's because after having spent like 2 days here, I've learned like everybody is now familiar with synergies and the 4 types of synergies and the background of synergy, and almost everybody knows the Stairway to Excellence project. So it's for us, for me, it was not very useful to spend this like small 10 minutes talking about the background. So I'm not going to talk about the background, the synergy expert group, and with a strong recommendation and mentioning the suboptimal coordination of research and innovation, the lack of common strategy related to Europe 2020, the lack of coherent and iterative governance structure, and so on. I'm going to focus my presentation of what we have done so far. First, I have to say this project, because it's a project, as origin the European Parliament. GRC IPTS has been mandated by European Parliament to co-implement with DG Regio the project. The project has been launched in Prague last October, so we are now at like almost 9 months. So we are ready to start to show you something. First, okay, as synergy concern like all the European member states, why we focused this pilot project on EU 13 countries. This slide shows just the graph shows the trend of the share of FP fundings taken by a different group of countries. And you see like the EU 13 countries, the share is decreasing when the EU 15 remains stable, and the associated countries, and there is like Switzerland and Israel behind, is strongly increasing. Everything, and this show like it shows also we see also a low capacity of absorption of structural funds dedicated to R&D in our preliminary analysis. This map just shows, it complements the other slides. This is a regional R&D intensity on the GDP, and it shows clearly there is in Eastern and Southern Europe there is an underinvestment in terms of research and innovation. We see, of course, some disparities. That's why that's the added value of this project. We do not consider Estonia and Romania in the same box. So we provide tailored information and feedback to this and recommendation to this country and region. So, okay. Just like a small reminder, the main objective of Stairway to Excellence project is to assist EU 13 countries to enhance the economic impact of the EU funding source, and by promoting their combination. So the final aim is to produce job and economic value. This is a final objective. And also, because RIS3 is at the core of synergy, it's to stimulate the early and effective implementation of smart specialization strategy. So, I'm gonna focus on this slide what we have done so far. Some information are already available on the Stairway to Excellence website. First, we are providing to region and countries fact and figures reports. We, as research center, we have access to different database, program database, but also there are indicators like such as patents and so on. So we try to combine all this available information into a small report, 25 pages, in order to set the scene, where and to have a baseline where we are, and in order to trigger a discussion with regional and national authorities. So now there is, I think, online there is 30 reports. Some other going to complement this 30. We work also with a pool of 13 independent experts. I say independent, I underline independent because the reports drafted by experts are not validated by national authorities. So they come up with strong message, interesting message. They are under like a revision now by us, and they should be available very soon on the Stairway to Excellence website. So we are acting as I should mention, we are acting as facilitator, like the keyword is facilitator. We are not here to provide like strong recommendation. We are here like just to help to create link and to bridge different stakeholders, national with regional authorities, business with university, and to create the moment and to provide relevant information to trigger discussion. Another important deliverable is the case studies. Many of them are produced by the experts. It's a concrete example of synergies, existing synergies. Sometimes it's synergies by opportunity, but we see like interesting stories. As I have like 30 will be drafted, are drafted. They are under revision now. I have like in mind like 3, for example, you have the CETEC, now the famous CETEC, the Central European Institute in Technology, based in Brno. We have yesterday a speech from David Ulrich from Southern Moravia. And the CETEC is not like, it's far from Prague, capital region, and they managed to combine structural funds to attract international researcher and to be attractive for the FP. Another example, it was also the ZTV. It's a former public Slovak company. We're like producing a tank and armored vehicle until '89, and now it's a leading producer in a robot and security system. They received structural funds. They participated in FP5, FP6, FP7. This is like the good story. Last but not least, I have in mind, and I'm working on these case studies, biotech SME based in France, named Renovia Pharma. They received like structural funds to fund like a biosimulation platform. It was not like a huge money. It was like a 400,000 euros, but it triggered like attractivity, and they participated in many projects in FP7. They are now in a Eurostar project, and they have been selected by the General Directorate of Armament in France in the dual use technology program. This is just this example. You're going to have like 30, just showing synergy are possible. You just need, and the importance of the governance is crucial, and leadership. And we need to be at the beginning optimist, and maybe seeing like where we, before seeing barriers, like knowing like where you want to go with those synergies. So maybe now, and we are in a crucial moment. We need to pass from the synergy by opportunity by synergy by planning. Now we have the full picture. That's why experts like you have to spread the news in order to bridge all this funding dedicated to research and innovation. Last but not least, we are organizing 13 national events. For now, 2 have been organized, one in Riga and one in Zagreb. It gives me the opportunity to thank and to congratulate Latvian authorities. We know they are really busy with presidency, with a wire conference, and everything went well. The next one is going to happen in Bratislava, the 25th of June. The two next plans in 2015 will be Warsaw in October and Prague in November, December. All the countries going to follow after in 2016. Just to finish, some example, what we are producing. This is like a screenshot of the faction figures. We are doing like a network analysis. It's concern Latvian cooperation in the FP7. The red nodes are the Latvian participants. You have the circle, the university, the square research organization, and the triangle, the companies. And you can see, and this type, I'm not going to provide you with a lot of information now, but just to give you the envy, to trigger the envy, like to check the websites now or in the coming weeks to see what we are doing and how useful we can be for you. Like some maps, so it shows like the collaboration map, FP7 collaboration map of Latvia. Again, specialization indicators, again in FP7. We see like biotech seems to appear very strong in Latvia. Also space. This is like a screenshot from the SETEX, the case study. You have like this global picture showing, okay, SF is structural funds. They funded research facilities with structural funds, and now they participated. They use like several FP7 instruments, such as a region of knowledge, but also ERC, and they have been selected for an ERA chair in H2020. This is a screenshot of an expert report showing the governance of that's really important for us, where the decisions are taken and where are the flows of fundings and decision at national and regional level. I think that's all. I don't know if...
Thank you very much, Mathieu. Yeah.
You have the website?
Well, yes. Well, I think that it is clear for all of us that the WIRE conference are learning processes where we heard about some examples, but perhaps the most important part of the WIRE conference is the intervention for the floor, because we are learning everybody from everybody else. So now the floor is yours, and you can refer to the intervention of the speaker of the round table or to your own experience, because this is where we learn and we advance. And I want to thank Mr. Markula for mentioning that he has witnessed and attended 3 WIRE conferences, and he has witnessed the progress and the usefulness of the debates we are having in this room. So please, floor is yours. Who start? If you don't start, I will ask each of you where you come from or what are you doing here.
Thanks so much. I'll take the opportunity just to ask a question at this stage and break the ice in that respect. Really interesting contributions from all presenters and also from Mr. Markula as well. We talk a lot about synergies at a policy level, about complementing funds, bringing funds together. I noticed this notion of synergies as a combination of funds. I'm not convinced by that, personally. I like the view of it that synergy is something that happens, you use it as a tool from there. But when we think about how we stimulate the links between universities and local economic growth, I wonder, and this is a question I suppose to all of the panel, I wonder whether we fully understand the challenges of making those linkages. So some of the work that I've been doing recently in Eastern European economies suggests that the reason that firms aren't working with universities is because universities do not have accredited laboratory facilities. They don't have ISO standards. They're not registered for good laboratory practice. And as firms move up the value chain, as Dimitri was pointing out, they're increasingly looking for that accreditation in order to work with university researchers. And university researchers don't always see that as being important to their research activities, which are focused much more strongly on publications. And I wonder whether we need to do a little bit more to develop the practical linkages that we can put together between firms and universities. Thank you.
Okay, I think yes. Muriel.
Maybe I can have an answer. I think you don't need to look at transforming your university. You need to look at using the other actors, which is called Research Institute in the middle. Some are coming from spin-off of universities, but that's what they're doing. They're doing testing, they have certification labs. So I think sometimes we're trying to say universities and business collaboration, but you have more actors than just universities and businesses. And I think that's what I'm trying to tell today, is that you have RTOs in the middle that are not looking at number of publications, but will be looking, can I pick up what has been started in the universities and bring it much closer to the market so that the industry can use it. And for that, they have the labs and they have the certification tools, which will require probably some time to link some of these RTOs with university further when they are not in the same region. So you will have to look at and be ready, I think, for inter-regional cooperation. And I think that will be quite key in the future. I don't have a lot of RTOs automatically where most of the structural funds are. So I think the teaming and the twinning of Dimitri is actually very key for that. And that regions will have to open up the doors, and that the door which is now possible for inter-regional cooperation will be also looking for those actors to complement. And I think in the first projects that Dimitri now has in his pool with the teaming and twinning, we have some of this testing. So I hope it will work out.
Okay, Luca?
Yeah, it's true that when you introduce the structural funds kind of thinking to universities, it starts with a strong resistance, because they are used to a situation where they have the freedom to do research whatever they like. And from regional development point of view, it's a total different question. We are always emphasizing the regional development aspect. What is the connection to local economy, to local companies, and so on? But when you invest in these laboratories and so on, and you say that would it be better that you are the keynote speaker in an international seminar instead of the presenter of the 80th poster? So that really ring the bell with the researchers and say that now they realize that when they have to concentrate and they have to make choices, they have to concentrate on some strategic fields, they are actually doing better. And that's where the structural funds are helping them to climb those stairway to excellence.
Okay. Can I, thank you. So I fully respect Adrian's reservation on synergies, but we've spent a lot of time also with the guidance that we produced last year, that you all know, to tell everybody that synergies is not about combination of funding only. This is only one particular part of synergies that if people are really interested to engage in, it is perfectly possible. It needs very good coordination of the authorities with the private sector and for those stakeholders that are engaged and actually successful in Horizon 2020. The first and foremost objective of synergies between the structural funds action and the Horizon 2020 is amplifying the impact of the investments that are being done by the public authorities and by private sector on research and innovation. And this is perfectly possible in terms of design of and implementation of the operational programs. The key to synergies, again, is the cornerstone, as it has been also referred to by my colleague of the Joint Research Center, and it was also stressed yesterday, is the strategies on smart specialization. Smart specialization provides a focus on investment of the structural funds, and it is not only a conditionality for the pleasure of the Commission, it guides public investment, and it gives really focus on anything that has to do on investment from the structural funds or research and innovation. So if you want then to engage in the combination of funding, you must be an enlightened managing authority. You have to plan investments in research and innovation that will support research and innovation stakeholders in Horizon 20. So this is what we bluntly call upstream synergies. So you prepare your stakeholders for doing this. A lot of people have done this. A very good example is the city of Aragon. Olivier here can give you more information. Already in FP7, they had set up a particular agency to identify the problems that their stakeholders had with the framework program. They succeeded to raise a lot their performance. We have seen another example yesterday in this conference from Galicia in Spain, where one of our RECPOD research potential project, LiftGate, has actually produced excellent results. We have seen figures, for example, before RECPOD, one successful project in FP7, after that 7 projects in FP7 and 2 already new in Horizon 2020. This is the essence of synergies, is amplifying the effect of public investment in research and innovation. Again, if you want to engage into combination of funding, you can do it, but you need extremely good coordination between public and private sector.
Okay, Andrew. Oh, sorry.
I would like to say some words about universities. I think they shouldn't be changed or restructured. In Soviet times, universities worked very well, but now they work very bad because of bad governance, which comes from European Union. And universities shouldn't be changed or restructured like it wanted to be made with Riga Stradinch University, but they should be supported, they should become support from European Union, and they shouldn't be restructured.
Thank you very much. Maybe we can collect a couple of interventions and we will reply. Andrew? Here.
Andrzej Siemaszkus, I was organizer of Krakow WIRE conference, and I've seen from the presentation of Marco Marcola one point which is not completely considered now. I think this from the past, regions of knowledge, so clusters of regions, and it's something. Let me start from such, we are talking a lot about synergy between structural funds and Horizon, but it's so complicated. So consider that Poland Polish research institutions may receive from Horizon something like 50 billion euro, and from structural funds we have 70 billion euro. So it's 1,000 more, you know. And how this discussion today, I think that there is a lot done from the side of Horizon, Dimitri, you know, unit, how we see this synergy. From the other side, from this big side, is practically nothing. So this is such a big discrepancy of instruments, how to deal with this synergy. So, okay, we have some, we postulate that if we are very good in Horizon, so we have a very high score for our project, so we may go to structural fund. No, because we are talking with such a big player. So even at regional level, so region has a couple billion of euro in hand. So we are not a partner coming from Horizon, from research. So this is a big discrepancy of potential. And we should look for some instruments like regions of knowledge, this notion of network of excellence, but in regions. So combining not clusters of neighboring regions, but sectoral approach to regions. So such a vanguard initiative, but focus on one area. So I have in mind this proposal of agro-food, Eastern Europe, such a macro region, but concentrate on one topic or factors of the future. So I think we need such a combined approach now, and from the other side, from the side of structural funds, to really establish some equilibrated platform for these synergies. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any comment?
Yes. Can I comment? First of all, I want to respond to your comments on universities. Universities are completely free. We do not impose any constraints on universities. What we stress is that universities is a real asset for economic development. And this is widely acknowledged. You just have to read a lot of academic findings, and it's not me that will only support this idea. And it's exactly because of the role of universities as leaders in the knowledge economy that we're actually looking to them to be part of a really active part of the innovation ecosystems. Second, to Andrei, I would like to stress that we cannot just compare billions and how much a region could probably get from the structural funds to measure the impact of synergies. By the way, Horizon has a lot of other instruments that go beyond the typical consortium that we normally know all as a conventional tool. We have now a lot of public-private partnerships. We have joint technology initiatives. We have the public-public partnerships, the joint programming, which is also supported. And we have also other players, as Lambert was reminding yesterday, the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, the knowledge and innovation communities. There are many, many other structures in partnership that all regions can have really to exploit better. And you mentioned regions of knowledge. I would not comment on that because the Parliament and the Council have made their agreements and their approval. If you want something like this, you can wait for the next framework program to be negotiated. But for the moment, it's gone. But we have transferred the spirit of regions of knowledge in the new Interreg Europe. So please have a look in Interreg Europe, which actually mentions regions of knowledge in its introduction. Both in the ERDF regulations and in Interreg Europe, we have introduced almost identical articles that provide a lot of support for interconnectivity of clusters and even to exchange of researchers between institutions. Don't forget also that in the operational programs of the structural funds, you can spend up to 15% of your overall allocation to external partners, even outside your country. So there are a lot of opportunities, but you need also to be a little bit more active. And we want also, and we said to regions and to the managing authorities, that they would like to introduce more quality in their choices. So, for example, international evaluation with independent experts when they allocate research and innovation activities.
Okay, we will continue. There are some were asked. I would like to invite you also to intervene in the other topic that we try to deal, which is the benefits of the interregional cooperation and how this can benefit to the development of research and innovation environment. Now, I think there is one word. Joaquin.
And sorry, before you start, I have to interrupt it for a second just to invite distinguished members of the previous panel to the press conference, and also members of the press, if there are any, my colleagues, please follow downstairs to the one level down to this hall that we call, I think it's legal. So I can guide you, club hall, down to the press conference, please. Sorry, okay. You continue now, of course. Thank you.
So Joaquin, you have the floor.
Yes, hello. I have a question specifically for Dimitri. We all noticed that in Horizon 2020 there is a specific pillar devoted to widening and just on this, trying to improve these synergies. But my question is, there are other programs, other societal challenges, and for example, we also all know that in Marie Curie there is the COFAN, and one other example is, for example, the project I am coordinator from the Health Societal Challenge, which is also devoted to increase the synergies between both worlds. Why not other parts of Horizon 2020 have some linkage with somehow regional authorities, structural funds, or asking for participation or a specific partner just to increase, to enlarge these potential synergies between these two quite different worlds.
Can I?
Yes, please.
Yes. So, thank you for your question, because it gives me the opportunity to tell you that we are encouraging actively all our colleagues in the thematic areas to engage more in synergies with the structural funds. Actually, we have provided internal guidance for all those colleagues that are writing the work programs that you cannot see because this is internal. But all the work programs more or less start to have concrete references to synergies with the structural funds, but with a particular warning that there is no way to make these synergies an automatic attribution of points when it comes to the evaluation of proposals, because we want to keep Horizon really very concretely geared to excellence. But nevertheless, there are a lot of provisions in the work program. For example, people are encouraged, if they want to exploit better the results of their program, and even previous projects can be very much exploited in what we call downstream synergies, help for commercialization, for example, or in the particular business technology plans that sometimes are requested from participants. A reference to synergies would be useful. And there are always particular reference to that, but of course, I repeat, what we want to avoid is that by bringing, for example, a letter of intent, a proposal would benefit from more favorable treatment from another. This is not, this will never happen.
Yes, Maria.
Yeah, I think what Dimitri mentioned is very important. You have to realize that Horizon 2020 is a research program. So it is there to pay the best research it can pay. If you would have a criteria who says, well, you're the best research, but maybe not that best, but you can show that you have links to a pot of money on the other side, you start to bring distortion. Structural funds are not evenly distributed in Europe, and you have the EU 14 which are lagging behind, that will even increase. So you're just trying to link, you know, a potato and a carrot, thinking that you have a magic solution by doing that with eligibility criteria, and that will be simply not working. You will be counterproductive in what you want to achieve within Horizon 2020 objective. And you will end up with 45,000 proposers. That was the number we had from Wolfgang last year, going to all the OPs trying to get a letter. And I'm not sure this is really strategically thinking then.
Okay, the lady over there, yes. Please.
Yes, a question to Mr.
Could you identify yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Claire Nolas from Belgium, independent expert. It's a question to Mr. Alaciente. So Dimitri Kourpakis enlightened the need to enlarge and upgrade the impacts of the funds, and you made this suggestion to have inter-regional cooperation funded by own regional or national funds, be it structural funds or national and regional sources. But I think this would enlarge very much the impact of inter-regional cooperation that today is, as you said, is a bit in its own bubble. But doing this is really something that is not politically correct, because no region wants to devote their money to the neighbors or to regions far away. So how to break this barrier? Do you have suggestions?
Yeah. Okay, thank you for the question. Yes, that's true that it's politically very difficult to explain to our politicians that we are financing somebody else, but we are not. We are only covering our own costs and our share of the joint activities that are needed for the project. So we are not transferring money to other regions, unless, as I explained in the regulation, that if the activity happening, for example, in Germany, it's benefits for the actors of our region, then we can finance that activity. But the basic idea is that it's only for the, cover the costs of our actors. And why we do this is that we have realized that the regional cooperation with good partners in Europe, for example, in the Vanguard initiative, that it brings added value to our development. So it's useful for us, for our region, for our actors to participate in this kind of activities. Because, for example, in this 3D printing, we realized that we can't, handle all the different aspects of 3D printing. But we have excellent partners in Flanders, for example, who have a lot of experience on that. And then we have already sent a business delegation to Flanders, and our companies said that now they realize more about the question and now they know whom to contact there. So this cooperation should be more like daily bread and butter, not this exchange of experience and benchmarking, which we have seen for many, many years already. So now I think it's time to one step further in this interregional cooperation.
Yes, really.
Maybe if you see the examples we have, and we are very happy with the Vanguard initiative, where we have quite few of our members which are active below, providing, technical expertise. Basically, you're just buying the expertise with this 15% that you don't have in-house. So you do buy, construction material that you don't have because you don't have wood or glass or whatever, but you have problems of doing the same with knowledge. And I think it's just as good as any other. And if you need it, then you go and buy it and finding outside. And I think if you present it like this, it's slightly different than paying someone else and giving the money away to another region.
Okay, Andrew.
Just to elaborate more this proposal from Claire, I think it's also possible to think about not just buying expertise outside using money from structural funds, but think about Horizon, this private-public partnerships. So to pay the entrance fee, and this is something more. It's for regions which is really strong in some technology, but in terms of managing administration, weaker, has not such a visibility. So to enter to such a close club like Joint Technology Initiative or some of this PPP, it is worthwhile to spend some money, to have a pool of money which will return. So it's a win-win situation for sure. So there is still room to discuss for such a, so using this 15% of flexibility of structural funds in such a way to organize some public partnerships or public partnerships. So I think that this could be elaborated more.
Let me make a point on something that we are discussing now, and I think that's also, the question was also raised by the question of Lambert van Nistelrooy, the communication and the exchange of information. This is a big issue, and it's more or less related to the proposal of Andrew about try to figure out what are the common interests in development. Well, I want to highlight, and many of you are engaged in regional development or research, the database created by the GRC in Sevilla, where you can find that the priorities defined by most of the region in Europe, because not all of them reply. Well, this is a very useful tool for exactly what we are talking about. How can we cooperate? With whom do we share the same interest? And where is our interest in participating? Yuka highlighted that certainly they finance their own interest, which is good. But sometimes you don't need to finance. I mean, they have the common interest, and certainly when we have these points clear, we are able to define regional-wide, several region common interests, develop joint infrastructure, etc., etc. So we have a gate for the use in a very beneficial use of the structural funds, for instance, or even cooperating and join together to the framework program. So the 2 points of communication, first of all, even at the high political level, and information access are key point for what we try to attain in this kind of activities. So let me ask, because I have the light on my eyes, anybody else want to intervene? Any regional experience? Who? Where is?
At the end.
Ah, yes. Oh, yes, now it's.
Thank you. Other than experience, I have a question. It's probably for Dimitri Korpakis. I'm from Turkey. I'm the national contact point for widening participation. My question is specifically about the associated countries like Turkey. As I can see, other than the Spreading Excellence and Widening Participation program as well, there's too much emphasis on other work programs of Horizon 2020, like the societal challenges as well, in terms of the structural funds and smart specialization strategies. Regarding all of this, what do you recommend to the associated countries in order to provide this synergy since we are not accustomed to the jargons of the structural funds and the smart specialization strategy, what is like a general recommendation for all of the work programs in Horizon 2020 for associated countries? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Dimitri.
Yes. Thanks for this question. We have explicitly referred to the associated countries that are eligible in widening because of the compliance with the indicators that we have asked for eligibility. So most of the associated countries can be coordinators in widening. And of course, we know that you have not access to structural funds, but again, most of them have access to the pre-accession instrument, which is something similar to the structural fund, but of course it's not the full structural fund. In any case, in these particular cases, we have even marked in the work program that for those countries that are not really subject to smart specialization, because there's no conditionality since you have no access to the structural funds, we wish you, of course, by analogy, to demonstrate that you have, for example, for teaming, and that this is a requirement, that your proposal is really embedded in a broader growth strategy. And this is, by analogy, what you would like to, you would be interested to do in other parts of Horizon 2 if you want to, I would say, to exercise yourselves in a more holistic planning. So whenever you see references to smart specialization, you have to remember that you have to engage into a similar exercise, especially when there is marked like a prerequisite, like the case of teaming. But this is the only one, because in RHS and twinning, there is no prerequisite for smart specialization. We just say it is desirable, but this is not a requirement.
Okay, thank you very much for all your intervention. We have to stop here because there is the coffee waiting for us, and at 11:30 the other parallel session starts. Sorry for this delay, but we have a number of time and we try to shorten this. Thank you very much for your presence.